Hey YouTube, welcome back. Today I have this problem. It's called late majority element. Wait a minute. Can I make let's make the font size bigger because a lot of you talked about the font size is really small. I hope this size is biggest. Okay, so let's just have it like that. Okay, so we have this problem. It's a easy problem called majority elements. Given an array of nums of size n, return the majority of elements. The majority element is the element that appears more than n divided by 2 times. You may assume that the majority elements always exist in the array. Okay, so all the time we have majority arrays. So I guess there's no need to have any base cases. So for this one, we have the length 3. So length divided by the 3, and I guess we want to find element at least was appear twice, and we have 3 and 3. For this one, the length is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and 7 divided by 2, it will be like 3.5. For example, 3. Let's floor it, and I guess we want something that appeared at least 4. So we have it here 4. So we return 2. So let's talk about this problem and how could we solve it. So let's just go to the sketch and delete everything. Sorry. And let's just get the array. Okay. Let's put here and okay. So let's look at this one. First of all, I guess we could do something that we could loop. There's 2 ways coming in my mind to fix this problem. One is to loop through each element, and from this element we create another loop, okay, to talk with all of the other elements. So it will be O of n squared, okay. And this is not efficient. All the time O of n squared is not efficient. There's a way that we can do this in O of n, which we could use some pointers. For example, we will use a pointer that we could call count, and another pointer that we call for example, candidate, or candidate's too awful. Let's call it answer, ans, okay. And for count, we will loop the numbers. Count will equals 0, okay, at the first because it's 0, and the ans will equals you can assume 0 or null or whatever, like no value. So we looped first through the first element, which is 3, and we say that is the count equal 0? Yes, the count equals 0. Okay, if the count equals 0, first ans will equal this element. So in ens right now will equals 3, and we increase the count plus 1. So count will equals 1. Let me just. So count will equals 1. Okay. And we will continue. Okay. Let's continue. Okay. So we are in the second one, and I'm saying that okay. So if the count equals 0, no, the count equals 1. Okay. So if the count we have answer, we have an element is 3, and right now we want to check if this element is the main element or not. So we'll say that okay, if we have this one in s, it's a bid 1 time right now, and we have right now the second element is 2. So if 2 doesn't equal 3, what should we do? We will take 1 from the count. So not minus 1, it will be 0 again. Okay, so count is 0. So we loop again, and I will say that okay, is the count equals 0? Yes, the count equals 0. So update this with the count. So the count will equals 1 here, and the answer it will be it will be also 3. And when you end the loop, you find yourself this it's done. And I guess maybe sometimes you didn't say, it doesn't make sense. When we type it in the code and we try to see it, you find that it's make 100% sense. So let's just first, let's say let count equals 0, and let ns equals 0. We make a loop, let num of nums, okay? And inside the loop I will say that, okay, if count equals 0, that means there is no answer. Okay, so ans will equals num. Okay, so we right now update ans. However, count will plus equal 1, or if the number doesn't equals num, if num doesn't equals answer, we should take 1 from the count. So what I should do, I will say that if num equals ans, increase it by 1, otherwise decrease it by 1, and return ans. Okay, later, please, later. So let's talk about how this works. So let's just take this one, nums. So first of all, let's just say also num here. Num will equals the first element, which will be 3. And I'm saying, okay, if ans equals if count equals 0 and count equals 0, yeah, okay, so ans will equals num, which is num 3. Okay, so if count b plus equals, if num equals ans equals 3 and num equals 3, so we increase it by 1, so num equals 1. Continue loop right now, and num right now equals 2. So I'm saying that if count equals 0, no, count doesn't equal 0. So we say, okay, count plus equals, if num equals ns, this is not true because num is 2 and ns is 3, so take 1 from count, so count will be 0 again, and we have another one which will be 3, okay? And I'll say, okay, if count equals 0, if count equals 0, ns equals num, ns it's still 3, and count will be plus or equals, if num equals ns, that's right, num is equals ns, so count will be equals plus 1. Okay, so the thing that we are saying here, because we are saying the majority of numbers, so you make sure that this number is always there. So we have numbers is appeared like more than twice. So because we're doing that, we are making sure that we're finding our ans anyway, because we have multiple we have the amount of our answer is appeared more than half of the length, you know. So that's it for this problem. I hope my solution was quite good, and if you like my content, make sure to subscribe and hit the notification bell so you will never miss a video. And if you think my content needs anything to be edited, or maybe you don't like my solutions, feel free to give me a comment. I will just edit it and I'll just do it again for you guys. So that's it for this video, and I hope my solution was quite good, and see you in future problems.